appreciate y'all coming, taking a calculated risk for me. It's still a dream come true to read in square books. I never thought I would be able to read here when I was here like 5 years ago. So it's still very special to me. I can't wait for Aimee to come up and us to talk the shit. I'm only gonna read 7 poems for y'all. And it's wild because I'm looking at everyone in this crowd, and almost everyone has like, helped me along the way in regards to either my writing or friendship or life. So I really appreciate all of y'all. It's funny, I was talking to Alyssa, who got me this pocket square that says "Come Clean." But it's wild when I read for crowds who I don't really know, because I can put on a persona of the self. But with y'all, I feel like y'all know me so well that there's no point doing that. So I feel very reverent to be in front of y'all. Hello to the interwebs. You can sell me as an NFT if you would like. When I first told my parents I was gonna be a writer and not a dentist, my mom started crying because she said, "No one's gonna love you because you'll be a poor writer." But after some convincing and such and talking, she just said that if I get health insurance, that I'm okay. And I'm in grad school, so therefore I have health insurance. This is for her. My mother explains universal health care. The bird gives a feather to the sky, like all the other birds do. The bird doesn't get angry about giving a feather. The bird has many feathers to pluck. From afar, it still looks like a bird. 1 feather a month is for the health of all birds: blue jays, the assholes, cardinals, pigeons, hummingbirds, penguins, and flamingos. When a bird hops on 1 leg, someone will nurse it back to health, and the bird doesn't pay a feather. The bird flies on because it should, because it deserves a chance to live. The bird flows gorgeous with the wind. The wind reveals spots where the bird plucked itself. You are not a bird. You are not allowed to fly. Thank you. This next poem has content warning for mentions of sexual assault. It's the heaviest poem I'll read tonight. It's the title poem, "Come Clean," and it's in the form of a hustle. Come clean. I lied. I said Wisconsin, but it was a much colder place. Let's say Washington. Truth be told, it was next to a river that led to a dam that led to a wash. I said I blame my cousin, but in fact, I blame myself. I said I blame the basement, but I blame the washer that ruined the sound of doing laundry. The violent tumbling of my body down the stairs, a wet ball of clothing, a washer falling from the wall, through the drain, and out the sink in Chicago, where I'm 13, laying bare on an unwashed dorm room comforter, stuck between a bunk bed and a 20-year-old body. The warring wash of applause from her friends cheering her on, a container too hot, the pine wood of me melting inwards, the garlic of her breath washing my innocence with too much bleach, too much white on the sheets, like a massage table, like watching the ground as the masseuse reaches for the extra tip to feed their family. How my body walked out washed in a white robe, my boy mouth telling my uncle the dirty thing that happened to me as he continues to watch the ao dais on the street in Vietnam, says, "Relax, we're on vacation, you're a man now." Our happy ending money washed and laundered. When I get back home, I fold all my laundry into neat pillars on my bed. I place my body into the washer. I am a spin cycle of fetus, playing a game of hide and crease. I win when my stained teeth are all that's left to wash. For those watching at home, if you're doing dishes or folding laundry or cooking, that's perfect for this reading. Yesterday, and after a reading, my sister called my family because she announced that she's having a baby. So shout out. So now the pressure's off of me. She told us like a month ago, but she wanted to wait till everything was okay, and to then tell our parents. So we had to lie and pretend like we just found out, so my mom wouldn't be mad that she found out later. But I'm excited to be an uncle. I want to like play basketball with them in the driveway and like block their layups and teach them about life. So this is for whoever comes out in September. And this is based off the Vietnamese form that I adopted the rules from, the Luc Bot. American Luc Bot for peeling eggs. When you are 6 or 8, come in the kitchen. Take the spot to the left of the pots, still warm from those eggs, bought, boiled, and cooled. Love, you are old enough now to unfold the skin back on these white shells. Love, your little fingers dig gently. Observe the cracks you create on the backs of these eggs. Love, 2 light bounces are all you need to offer the skin. Coax the fatigue and water it under the still faucet. My child, my love, a little water can save you from tiny shards in your thumb. So when I first started doing the American Luc Bot version and kind of appropriating the rules for the polysyllabic English language, I talked to a lot of like people who were Vietnamese, and some were down, some were kind of hesitant. So there is like a type of like appropriation to it. I'm still reckoning with that. I think my act of doing it is kind of like the hyphen, the Asian American. So this next poem is the form talking back to the writer, dealing with that reckoning, with that hyphen. A failed American Luc Bot responds. How much of me must be written before I am just another bastardized item? My accents will soon leave the letters to float away across another ocean, find them in Texas or Mississippi. Find them under outstretched tongues, broken down by enzymes, spit, and fast food. A form can starve to death, you know. If the libraries burn, who will think of me? How many queries until I can find home? A Gracian urn devoid of my ashes, can I burn enough ink for you? Can I be read from fathers who don't speak, who find love in Vietnamese fantasy, and warriors trying to find the way home? Oh, monosyllabic birthplace, can I self-colonize myself? Be the fusion the world doesn't want to see. It is written, therefore it exists in the 3rd generation. The father's father, the author, and now me. In between self-hatred and self-actualization, I exist. So who will abandon me first? Who will shun me from beneath the floorboards? You or myself? The author or the border? The home broken by war or the broken home by the bayou? Shake the soul out of me. Yellow secret blending in with all the carbon, suckle slurped, whispered, and incensed by the head knee mourners. A mother, when I ask what happened, instead, she will take the white headband at my funeral and burn it with incense until the Holy Ghost cries shame. How are y'all feeling? I wish I asked that after this poem, because it has depression in the title. Thank you to Lynn and to Caitlin for helping put this on. Caitlin and I have been like communicating over email for like what feels like 5 years for this event. So thank you so much for the patience and communication. There's a new dim sum place in town. I don't know if y'all heard. It's like super expensive. I haven't been yet. But this is for that place. dim sum depression. Watch the guy land shriveled, drowned in oyster sauce, legs over the edge of the white plate, where the white garlic still has some shell, still wants to fragrant the room. The shrimp dumpling opens before the bite, cold in the middle, similar to the touch of the tray it slews in, left over at the end of the meal, the bill unpaid for. Only I like the chicken feet. So everyone gazes at the digits I cry over. Whip and chew, the limbs come alive in my throat. The limbs come alive in my mouth just to fall asleep in my throat. So bring on all the beef tripe from the back of the kitchen. Don't cringe behind the teapot. Holy cow intestines piped by the ginger, burned and feared by all who witness. Watch the attendants push their carts into each other. A collision of turnip cakes who worked long hours without a break, paid under the table, pills wrapped in translucent rice noodle sheets. I'm gonna end with this poem because almost everyone in here is in school. And a lot of people here have been or are in grad school. This is a poem I wasn't sure how to read at first, and then I figured it out as the book tour went on. So thank you all again for listening. And again, I appreciate every one of y'all who have taken a class together, or we played card games together, or I've taken too many shots with y'all together at some point. I really appreciate the community that I've had in Oxford, and like the space to write and to think how I want to think. Yeah, this is Google Calendar for my imposter syndrome. Sunday, Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Sunday, 8 a.m., rent due. 9 a.m., work brunch. How many burn marks on my forearm will it take for me to prove to my father that I am a struggling artist? How many white mothers will send their food back to the kitchen so I have something to eat later? What kind of sweat may be romanticized, collected, and studied? 3 p.m., shower, cry. 3:15 p.m., touch yourself gently. 4:15 p.m., play Mitski, because dreaming costs money, my dear. 7 p.m., eat leftovers from brunch naked on the floor, drinking the 9 p.m., shower again. Monday, 8 a.m., workout, push. 9:30, marinate meat. 10 a.m., meal prep yogurt. 11, talk with mom. 12, eat leftovers. 12, laundry. 1 p.m., read articles for class. What in the white privilege is going on in here? Prepare to say one unconfident comment. Write notes in the margins that I won't say in class, like non-humanism is like that movie Sausage Party produced by Seth Rogen. 6 p.m., intro to grad studies. How not to sound stupid talking about dead white men. 8:15, shower. 9:15, call mom back. Wednesday, 8 a.m., workout, legs. 9 a.m., office hours I hope no one goes to, and gossip with the succulent. 11:30, call best friend and don't let them see your work. 12 p.m., eat chicken. 1, clean toilet. 3, poetry workshop. A discussion on why your sonnets aren't sonnety enough, featuring the famous professor. 5:45, go to the local bar and downplay everything. 7:15, eat yogurt. 7:45, shower. Play the Psycho theme song for fun. Friday, 8 a.m., listen to mom's voicemail. 9 a.m., work the morning shift. The birds are too damn loud here. I get it. Good morning to you too. I made the bed in a rush and I am not in the mood. All my friends are riding somewhere in the north, in the snow, or at a beach, sipping margs while reading advanced copies. The grease trap has my name in it, swallower of swallows. 3:30, workout, pool. 4:45, thesis hours, or thinking about writing, or thinking about writing, or submitting to journals that I hope won't respond, or getting accepted and feeling nothing. Is it pity? Luck? 9 p.m. Shower. Thank y'all. I like to bring out someone, some of y'all may know this person. They are a big reason why I'm standing here and why this book was created. They are one of my mentors and helped me kind of come clean together. They are a connoisseur of rollerblading, a connoisseur of skating, roller skating, I am sorry, a connoisseur of remodeling houses, a connoisseur of axolotls, and a connoisseur of many things that are wondrous and joyful. Please make some noise for Aimee Nezhukumatathil.
Thank you so much. I was telling Caitlin and Joshua beforehand, I had a book come out last year, and I have not done a book event in a bookstore for myself. But it would have to be just, the town would have to be iced over to prevent me from coming here. That shows like how much I just wanted to celebrate this man and this extraordinary, beyond extraordinary student who, I think of him as an essay, which, you know, essay, one of the most inseparable things to say about the essay is that it means to try, but I'm going to say it anyway. I just feel like, Joshua, you, I think have never, or if you have, you had a big poker face about it, you've never shied away from anything that I said. Joshua, how about just try this? How about this? This is wacky, but just try this. I think you've never shied away from that, which is kind of amazing to me. But we're looking at the end result of not just doing that, but just seeing beyond my tries, beyond everything else. So I just wanted to, you know, I said I don't want to do a big introduction for you, but this is his day, and he has been working so hard. And I vowed, do you remember we sat together in Starbucks your first year? And I just said, like, you will have a book. And you were like, oh, I don't know. And I was like, you will have a book. We will make this happen.
Like, too much espresso.
And it's emotional for me to be here, because I remember your face was so like, I think that might be the only time that you've ever, I could see on your face that he was doubting me. Everything else, he was like, okay, I'll give it a shot. But that Starbucks little chat there, I'll never forget. That's where I saw the doubt, and I knew it. So anyway, here we are today. I thought I would do something a little bit different. I do have, I directed this thesis of his, this brilliant thesis, but I'm used to asking you a lot of tough questions, but I thought I'd do something a little bit different. And if anybody has seen the Colbert Report, he has this little kind of questionnaire. Do you know what I'm talking about, Meg? Yeah. He has this thing called the Colbert Questionnaire. And I took some of the questions from there, and then some of the questions from this Vogue series. Oh, I didn't see you there. Some of the questions from the Vogue Questionnaire series. So I'm going to do a mishmash, and then I threw in a couple of my own, and then we'll also talk about your poetry. But I'm sure that poems will come up in this as well.
Okay,
all right. Ready. Are you ready?
I'm ready. Theme song. Never mind.
All right, so apparently Stephen Colbert says that if you answer these questions, you'll get to fully kind of know a person. I don't know if I buy that person, because I think Joshua is multifaceted, like this disco ball up here. And I don't think there's any kind of like questionnaire that would get us to know the wondrous person that is Joshua. But I think this comes close. So Joshua, we are all wanting to know, what is the best sandwich in your opinion? And for those of you who don't know, Joshua used to work at the Oxford Canteen, which I had never gone to until I heard that he was working there. So I don't know if you know that. That was my first foray, because that's how much I trusted the food expertise of Joshua. So Joshua, tell us, what is the best sandwich?
I would say, this is ironic because of the book title, but I love a chicken parmesan.
Okay.
But because of the people I love in the crowd, on gluten-free bread and vegan cheese. Because if I have that with other people, some of them might die.
Oh no!
My roommate.
Yes, we can't have that. We can't have that. All right, excellent. What is the scariest animal in your opinion?
Besides humans, well, we've had encounters with blue jays, and that's why when I read that poem, I put assholes, which I don't know if they're assholes. Nadia might know, but
they're kind of jerks.
They're kind of jerks,
Yeah.
and they have like the jock hair.
Yeah.
And they'll like surround a frog and like beat it to death.
Yeah.
So I think blue jays are one of the scariest animals, especially from the sky.
Okay. Okay. Apples or oranges?
I'll say an orange.
An orange. I'm an team orange all the way.
I like the protective armor. Orange.
I'm team orange. I think Stephen Colbert is team apple. I have no idea why. How many for you guys? How many of you apples? You gosh. And then how many of you oranges? Oh, it's about half. It's about half. Okay. All right. Joshua, what do you? This is kind of heavy. There's no transition for this, so just get prepared.
Peaches.
What do you think happens when we die?
I think there is some sort of light. I'm not sure if it's bright, but there's probably a light, and then you're probably welcomed by an iteration of people you love, whether that's chemicals in your brain or if it's actually in your happening. And I think that's what happens.
That's so lovely. It's so beautiful. Good, good. I hope so. That's something like that would be so beautiful. I asked this, I think, in almost every class, so bear with me, but I promise this is from the Colbert Report. What is your favorite smell?
I think being here, I've grown to like the smell of the magnolia, and also love the smell of fresh bread. Like walking to Panera is amazing. I'm gonna say magnolias and bread.
Magnolias and bread. Good, good. Now, what is your least favorite smell?
So I have to take a lactate before I eat dairy.
Okay.
So I hate when I forget a lactate and I just smell my own farts. I'm sorry, I brought some toilet humor, but I don't know, there's wet or something. There's something about my own farts, because I feel so ashamed that I can create that kind of smell. So I think it's like the shame mixed in. I can smell the shame.
Oh my goodness! I don't think that has ever been answered at the Colbert Report. Or I dare say here at Square Books.
Yeah.
So, all right.
You can fact check that.
All right, I think I know the answer to this, but I want to hear your justification. Exercise, is it really worth it? And why or why not?
I think any type of exercise that you need to do is important to make yourself feel happy, or whatever you like to do, you should do. That's like healthy for your body, which means a lot of things for different types of people. So exercise is important. Based off what you want to do. Like I would never do Pilates, it's hard. I would do like other things.
Okay. Because this is one of my own, because of the book, shampoo or soap. If you could only choose one.
Wait, for the rest of my life?
For the rest of your life to clean yourself with, shampoo or soap?
Like soap, like body
wash?
wash?
Bar soap. A bar soap.
It has to be a bar? What?
Something solid, something liquid.
Well, Well, there's hair all over your body, right? I guess I'll do a bar of soap and I'll just shave my head.
Okay. You get one song to listen to for the rest of your life. What is it? Only one song. This is hard. This is really hard. A good one.
Probably How Deep Is Your Love by the Bee Gees.
Oh, that's a good
My
one.
parents love the Bee Gees.
Oh, that's a good one. Nostalgic and
Mm.
sweet all at once. All right. What is one ingredient? Speaking of being a good chef and everything like that earlier, what's one ingredient you put in almost everything? I guess your favorite ingredient to cook or to season with.
I mean, garlic?
Garlic.
All right, garlic.
Garlic, okay. All right. Describe, this is a two-parter. What is your wake-up ritual and what is your bedtime ritual? This is like TMI, I think, but this was from Vogue, so this is not.
Oh, Vogue. So bedtime, I can't step into my bed until I shower. So I shower and then I parade around my room in just my underwear until like my hair kind of dries a bit. And then I lay in bed. I wake up and then I put on the water for the French press. And then I prepare oatmeal. I try to eat oatmeal every morning with bananas and blueberries and brown sugar. And then, yeah, because I try to give an hour for myself in the morning because I'm a very cranky person. So.
Okay, excellent. Just a few more. What is your favorite time of the day? And I want a time, like with numbers, 3 numbers or 4 numbers.
Probably 10:47 a.m.
Okay, that's really specific. Good. And that's what I wanted. I wanted that real specific. Okay, good. And then, what's the most used app on your phone?
Lately, because of the book tour, like probably Instagram and Twitter, because I've been doing like promotion. I'm doing Wordle. I got today in 2 tries.
Don't tell me. That's
Okay,
very good,
okay.
that's very good. All right, and a couple more things. What's the weirdest word in the English language? Weirdest word. However you want. Jello?
Jello?
All right, Jello. Good. And with the little hyphen there.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. It's like gel.
Oh. It's like hello, but kind of cushiony.
It's like hell, Dad. Oh, that would be so weird. All right, and the last one. This always makes me, I don't know, I always get emotional thinking about this one. So I'm going to end it on this one. What 3 people, living or dead, would you like to make dinner for? Not go out to a restaurant, but would you like to make dinner for?
Oh. My dad's mother, who was my grandmother, but she died when I was like 4. But my first ever memory was her death in the hospital. That really stuck with me. But I heard that she was like an amazing person who always cared for me and my siblings.
What's her name?
I think her name.
Or what did you call her?
First Y.
Hmm.
But she, in all the pictures, like it's cool because she has like very frizzy, like gray hair and like black teeth. I heard she was just an amazing person to be around. So I would try to make dinner for her because I'm sure she made lots of dinner for me. I would make dinner for probably Elissa because she's helped me a lot with like all this whole process. And I think that she's always like tried to encourage me, even though like bad readings. And I want to make dinner for Probably my mom, because she has like always supported me in her own ways, even when she hasn't supported me. And I think that, like, she's, she brings so much joy to our family. My family's pretty stoic, but she like has like a big, she's like a big ball of laughter. And I think that, and she's a bad liar. So if I cooked for her, I know that like she would, if she were to lie, I would know. I could keep trying. So those three.
Good, good, excellent. I love it. Let's give it a round of applause for Joshua.
Yeah.
Great. I want to also do the time check real quick, just to sign out.
It is 6:35.
Okay, perfect. All right, so I want to talk a little bit about your book, and I want to give time to for the audience to ask questions. Okay, great. So one of the things I think I know the answer to, but gosh, I feel like it's been years since we taught, not years, it feels like a decade since you were sitting across from me defending your thesis, and things like that. But tell me, now that the book is in your hand, tell me like, what was the biggest surprise of the whole process? The minute from like getting the phone call that you won to being on the stage here at Square Books. What was the biggest kind of surprise for you? And it could be good or bad, it's something neutral, but something that you weren't, there's no book. Because I feel like even, with 5 books, there's always surprises. You know what I mean? There's I don't think there's ever going to be a point where I'm just like, oh, this is normal, or this happens all the time,
I think one good surprise, and this is only because it's probably one of the only positives of the pandemic we're in, is because all my readings are virtual. I've been able to reconnect with a lot of people that like helped me like when I was like 13, 14, 15, 16. And to read with them is also, very heartwarming, because we can like reconnect on like how we are then and now. And it's nice, like, show appreciation and show how like I grew up where knowing that like community and writing kind of were intertwined. So it's been cool to foster that still with like a lot of people that I admire and look up to. So I'm just surprised that I've been able to like meet up and read with a lot of people from everywhere.
Good. And I think that's a testament to you. I mean, I can't remember a time when there's this many of your peers, like someone's peers in the audience, and we're in a hybrid situation. But I look here and see so many classmates, and I think that's such a expression and outward testament of how much love and support that you have, and that you also, I want to give you credit, that you also cultivate with whatever group you're in, and I think that's such a rare thing for a poet, in some ways, like we're so, I don't know, sometimes awkward or weird, and I speak for myself sometimes too, and but I think you're one of those rare birds that kind of brings people in, pulls up people behind you as well, and it's not just like me, who could I read with that's like a superstar, but also let me bring up some people that I started with, that kind of thing too. And I just love, that's one of the things I just adore about you so much. I wanted to talk about just this thread of food and the domestic kind of in this book. How do you, these things that I would say traditionally, like especially like home organization is not traditionally thought of for men. Preparing food is not traditionally thought of for men, and which is a crying shame, but I wanted to see like what, I guess I would say like tackling the domestic. Did you feel like you had to alter the like forms itself? Like, would you think like, I don't know, maybe this is like an essay question now, so forgive me. Do you feel like that's what led you to experiment with the lookbot, to push things in different ways, because you yourself maybe didn't have a whole lot of models, like, doing your Google forms here, pushing like actual, like physically different poems than the average debut book? are those connected? Are those separate? Can you talk about that, like the physicality of your poems with the content as well, the domestic
Yeah.
content?
I think there is in the book a speaker trying to compartmentalize and organize a lot of like fragmented past and memory and trauma. I think I wasn't able to figure out how to write it until I could think about the literal domestic of like cleaning, organizing, and compartmentalizing. And yeah, I didn't have a lot of models, I guess masculine models of writing about it. I think of Leon Lee, and then I don't know who else. Yeah, so I think because I was trying to show a speaker reckoning with like that kind of sadness, I had to figure out ways to enact the thinking and the reckoning of it. I think form, for me, it allows a lot of like constraint, but like productive constraint. Because like playing a game, like any board game or card game, and that's like a cool challenge.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think the forms came because there had to be a way for the speaker to figure things out. And I think a lot of sometimes the form will break down on purpose, or the form contradicts what the content of the poem itself is going on.
Yeah.
There's that kind of tension. Yeah.
Okay, I love that. I love that too, that the forms, you know going into the poem that the form might break down, and that's okay. Because especially if you're writing about something that you haven't seen kind of before in print. Can you take us through, I know not everybody watching, especially at home, are writers, but like what is your thrill of sitting down to a blank page or a blank screen? What is your favorite thing about writing a poem? And then also, what is the most frustrating thing about writing a poem?
My favorite thing is writing a draft and then 3 months later looking at it and saying, these lines were pure trash. And having
Why is that your favorite thing?
Because
That would be a nightmare.
maybe I'm masochistic, but I love having objective distance to my own work. Because then it's cool to flip that switch in my head to see it clearly.
Gotcha.
So I think my favorite thing is time and distance from a poem and seeing how like it just kind of lives on the page, even when I leave it for a while. I think my least favorite thing, is, it's funny because you always said that sometimes I write strong endings and some endings had to be stronger. But I think endings scare me because at first I thought, and it's probably because I grew up in like a slam kind of community, but I thought like the ending had to have like some sort of triumph or some sort of resolution. But now I'm like realizing that there doesn't have to be that, like it can just be like an image, or it could just be like a reckoning that's unclear. So endings scare me less now.
Excellent.
I think it's because like doing like slam, that last few lines would help you like win on like a stage and get scored. So but now I'm like rethinking that.
There's something so beautiful about your poems, especially the ones that end kind of on a reckoning or almost like a to be continued, or just leaving the reader wanting to follow this speaker through the rest of this book, and like come along for the journey. And I think that's so powerful in your book. I think it's very rare to see that kind of, this is a chunky book. This is 90 pages, that kind of thing. That's on the chunky side, and I think if you had all these mic drop endings, it would be hard to read. Like we can only take so much Joshua brilliance, that kind of thing. And it's not to say that your reckonings ending are not brilliant, but I think that's a way to let the reader step forward a little bit more, to keep following the speaker throughout till we get to the 90 pages, and then we're like, wait, that was so quick. But I think if every single time was this like giant boom, 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 it's almost,
you break the mic.
Yeah, you break the mic. Exactly. All right, I love it. I'm gonna hear from the audience too, and I'm gonna be mindful of time and stuff like that. So can you
I think
guys
we
sort
have
of-
time for a few
Okay.
more.
All
Yeah,
right, great.
totally.
So I don't know if you want to do this like have the person stand up and say it. Yeah. So for the audience, I'd love for you to. I think we're gonna hear that we can hear you pretty well, but if you could stand up and I'll try repeating the question, or Joshua, maybe if you could repeat the question for people at home, that would be awesome. And then we can buy more of Joshua's books, get them for Valentine's Day, get them for whatever holiday you celebrate in February. And he'll be able to sign them here as well. So yeah, who wants to be the first to ask Joshua a question? Yay, Nadia.
How are the photographs functioning in your book? How do you see them in conversation with the text?
How does the photograph in the book how are they in conversation with the rest of the text? A question from the photographer. High pressure. Well, first, Elissa took those photos, so thank you for framing those. But I think I'm thinking a lot about like lately Natasha Trethewey and like her ideas of writing about photography. And I saw a lot about it last semester in my classes, and she thinks a lot about the aperture, what's beyond the frame. And for me, like the Polaroid itself feels like a sonnet. How both of them are very like instant, fleeting moments, very short and condensed. There's a lot of constraint in both. So the Polaroids in this book, they're like more visual snapshots of like the quotidian and the domestic. But they're still like unclear, right? You don't see a full figure, like a full face. And I think it just matches, like it parallels the idea of like what is totally covered or revealed or fragmented. Yeah, I think if you look at the three Polaroids, you could see some sort of arc in them, as the three sections of the book have their own arc. And the third Polaroid is more, it's still vulnerable, but I think it's brighter and it reveals more. And at that point in the book, there's like an openness to the truth and honesty to the speaker. So yeah, thanks for the question.
So great, Alyssa, and in the photographs that you took, because of that thing that you mentioned, Joshua, about what's beyond the scope of the Polaroid. I love kind of imagining like what else was in that room, or things like that. So I love that question, Nadia. Yeah, good. What else? Other questions? Other questions from the audience?
Can you explain what an NFT is?
Can you explain what an NFT is?
This is all here. Even when I hear it, I get irritated. So I don't know what it is. I just get irritated. But go ahead.
I think an NFT is, in an art sense, there's like art that is sold online as an NFT, and you basically buy the rights to have that art. That's all. I have no idea. That's all I got.
Thank you, Maggie.
Thank you, Maggie.
For the irritating question. Sadia, how about you?
I'm curious about if there was a poem that's not in the book that you really love or you might miss. And if you think about that.
Yeah, I think. Oh yeah. So the question was, is there a poem not in the book that like I love? And I think about the poem and whether, of it not being in the book. I think about like Derek's workshop, because Derek kind of focuses on the construction of a manuscript. But then one time he said that like not all your hits or singles make the album. I think there was a couple of poems that did not make the book, but I know they were like good poems. But a lot of them dealt with like, they were kind of optimistic. One was about food. And I think in this book, there wasn't room for, there was this poem that was basically a response to like this top chef judge who was like criticizing some like Vietnamese dude for not like making a good Vietnamese dish or something like that. And it was cool, but I don't think there's a speaker. The voice of that poem isn't the same voice of the speaker in this book. And so the voices didn't match. And that's ultimately why I took it out, even though it was a good poem. It was like a sonnet too. I think about that poem a lot because I really like that poem. But I'll probably make the next manuscript.
We have time for like one more question. Yeah.
Oh, Jeremiah. So how did you decide that the last poem is going to be the last poem in this book? Did you struggle with the thought that the last poem in this book is going to be the last poem, or was it just impulsive?
So the question was, how did I know the last poem was going to be the last poem in the book? Was it impulse, or was it like very thought out? The last poem in the book is called A Hoarder. And I think I knew for a while that it was going to be the last poem. One, because I love the last couplet, then the image of the dragonfly as a key. I think throughout my entire life of writing, I've always turned to dragonflies at some point to like as an image. I don't know why it feels very Vietnamese to me, but it does. And I think throughout the entire book, there's a speaker talking about like cleaning and being organized, and sometimes talks about like the other family members, including a mother's like persona. So I wanted like the mother, in a sense, to speak back to the writer, kind of like the failed American Luke bot. I wanted to implicate like the writer themselves or the speaker themselves. So I wanted to end it with kind of like the palinode that you taught, right? The idea that like poems can respond to each other or retort back. So I wanted a chance for a mother speaker to retort back by the end of the book.
Okay, wonderful. I love these questions, everybody. Joshua, it is just such I'm beyond proud, you know that, but it's just so lovely and heartwarming. It makes me want to create. I feel like you are such a good teacher to everybody, a teacher of kindness, a teacher of bringing people together, and a teacher of taking risks in poetry, you know, and also extending grace to others as well. So I just want to applaud you and celebrate this gorgeous, gorgeous book. It's really unlike anything else in these shelves, in these hollowed halls here of Square Books. So please get yourself a couple or three and celebrate independent presses, or celebrate poetry, independent bookstores, and to celebrate this guy right here. Let's give it one more big applause.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you all for coming and reading.